Hey there, you guys. Welcome back. Today I just wanted to do a little bit of a plant haul. It's been a while since I've gone plant shopping. I've actually been trying to minimize my collection. Doesn't feel like it, but I've really tossed a lot of things that weren't doing so well, not growing well in my environment, nearly dead. You know, those ones that you're like, oh, I can bring it back. I cut my losses. I said, I've got so many plants. If it doesn't bring me joy and it's not doing well, it's out of here. So that's what I've been doing all summer, and not everything made it back inside. My grow room is still full, but there are less plants. Things are getting a little bit bigger, so they're filling out a little bit more. That, what is it? The McDowell is looking lovely. It's starting to get much bigger leaves. It's growing really, really quickly. I love it. And this coleus, I didn't really like it in the beginning. It wasn't growing very quickly. But now this coleus is doing so well. It's got very small leaves. I don't know, it's an under the sea mix or something. Anyway, that's not part of the haul. Let's get to it. So the other day, like I said, I went to some garden centers. I haven't been shopping, but they had some good sales on. So I thought, hey, let's do this. So at one of the garden centers I went to, if you're in the southeastern Ontario region in the Niagara area, Rice Road Greenhouses has a sale on until Christmas. By the time you see this, it's probably over, or they're closed for the holidays. So hopefully you can find some deals in your area similar to that. The first thing, everything was like 50% off. All the houseplants were 50% off. These little guys, little 2-inch pots, were $2. So I bought myself a little Euphoria Millieey. I've never had the yellow before. I picked the one with the largest flowers. I've had these in the past. Usually I buy red or pink. But the yellow is really striking to me. And I like that it had the larger blooms. And in the past, I've had an issue with scale insects growing right in the growing node, right in the center at the growth point. And it's just a pain in the butt. And I get so frustrated. So I'm going to try to keep this free of scale. I'm gonna keep it away from everything else. But look at how cute it is. I can't wait to see it grow, and hopefully it gets to be a good size. I don't want it to be massive, but I love that Euphoria Millieey tends to be a constant bloomer. So once it starts to bloom, if you give it enough light and the environment is good, it's gonna keep going. So then I thought these were gonna be a lot of fun. Same place. This was Rice Road Greenhouses. 2.5-inch pots of lithops. Here are three, $2 each. You can't go wrong for lithops. So what I wanted to do is make another little rock garden for the lithops. I have one little seedling. He's doing well, but he's still tiny. And I grow him in pon. I believe it's a mixture of pon and peat moss, just a little bit of peat moss. The peat moss will regulate the pH, but it's mostly the pon. And it seems to be doing really, really well. And I can water it on a more frequent basis because it dries out quickly. So I'd like to do these guys. I'd like to have them repotted soon. But right now, if you're familiar with lithops, the winter is their growing time. They don't do anything all summer long. And you kind of want to let them do their thing. You're not watering them over the winter. And they do their leaf exchange. So as you can see, this one, the new set of leaves is starting to come through. And eventually it's going to push through, it's going to tear these, and then you won't start watering until the older set of leaves has shriveled up completely into husks. So these two are not there yet. They're not far enough along. I can see on this one, it's starting to separate. I don't know whether you're able to see that. I'm trying to cover up my face so it focuses. So this will be exciting. I'll make a video when I do this. I think I'm gonna do it soon. I'm just gonna remove as much soil as I can without disturbing the roots too much, and pot them up in like I said, a mostly pon, basically a very stony mix. Another thing that I got from Rice Road Greenhouses was this little Sansevieria. I'm not sure what variety it is. I think this one was $4, but it was on sale for $2 because it was saved 50%. And I'm wondering if this is a type of whale fin, just a tiny little guy, because it didn't look like any of the other bird's nest style or Yeah, it starts with an H. The word for it, it's escaping me right now. I can see it, but I can't think of it. So I'm hopeful that it's a type of larger one. The leaves are a little bit thicker than a typical bird's nest Sansevieria, Dracaena. I hate calling it that. So we'll see what this one turns into. Fingers crossed it's something other than just the short little guys. If it is, nothing wrong with that. And the last thing I got from the Rice Road Greenhouses tour was, I'm late to this party, but the Philodendron brantianum, yeah. Usually it's called brantianum. Anyway, correct me if I'm saying it wrong. So this is a little guy. It was $10, so it was marked down 50%, so it was only $5. I have the Soderoid. The Soderoid doesn't grow out well for me. It doesn't like my ambient humidity. When I put it in a greenhouse environment, it grows well. It grows faster. But when it comes to, I don't want to have something in an enclosure the whole time. And philodendrons get larger, so it outgrows it pretty quick. So I want it to acclimate to my humidity, which isn't bad. It's like I'm gonna say the lowest 33%. Usually in the summertime we're at around 50% or more. So anyway. People have tried the brantianum, and I believe that this one can be coaxed into regular humidity just fine. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Give me some care tips on this guy. But I love these leaves, and I can't wait for them to get a little bit bigger. I think that they get to be like, I don't know, a fair size. So yeah, brantianum, $5. I couldn't go wrong. I could not buy it. So then the other place that I went was Vermeer's Garden Center in Welland, Ontario. And the first thing that I bought was, actually, let's go in order what I picked up first. This one here has been on my wish list. This one is a Rhipsalis Paradox. When I think of Rhipsalis, I think of the little one that people put in a face pot and he acts like the hare, so it has like the sideshow Bob afro kind of situation going on, and I love that. But I don't really like the tiny fine Rhipsalis. It's pretty enough. It's not for me. I like this one. This one reminds me of a Rhipsalis crossed with a Christmas cactus. The way that it looks like it has the individual leaflets, the way that it's kind of crossed, it kind of looks like a long Christmas cactus. So that's why I like it. And once I saw it, I'm like, well, I want that, but I had never seen it at a reasonable price individually. It was mostly in like a mixed planter, and I didn't want to spend $80 on a mixed planter where I didn't want any of the other things. So finally, I found it in a 4-inch pot. It was only $7.99, so I said, it's going in my cart. I'm gonna give it a try. So this guy, it's supposed to be a very tolerant forest cactus. It tolerates lower humidity, but it's from the rainforest, so it wants to be in higher humidity if you can provide it. But it also wants to dry out, much like a Christmas cactus. It wants to dry out between waterings, but not be too dry like a desert cactus. So yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. It's a hanger. It's gonna be in a hanging pot soon. And what was the next one I found? The next one. This one I had before, but I ended up killing it. I think what did I do? It was growing well, and it was just a tiny little guy. Started doing better, and then I think I let it dry out for too long, or it got wet feet. I can't remember, but the Anthurium veitchii, the King Anthurium, I've been wanting one of these again for quite some time, and I'm going to be repotting this into a chunkier mix. This feels like it's in either a coconut coir or a peat-based soil, and it doesn't feel all that chunky, so I'll really have to watch out for root rot if I keep it in this. I'll probably repot this in a couple of weeks. I let it acclimate to my conditions before I stress it out with a repot. And yeah, it was only $29, $30, so I put that in my cart right away. I remember a few years ago they were going for like $200, which is ridiculous. So $30 for something unique, I don't mind paying it. So wish me luck. Give me some care tips. Again, I want it to grow in ambient humidity. I just need to watch my watering. That's the biggest thing. So chunkier mix, that's what's gonna help me out. And last but not least, the one that I wasn't gonna buy because it's an alocasia. It's the Acacia Heterophil, and I can't remember what the common name is for it. Something like a silver something, or a gray ghost, or I don't know. Who knows? I'll look it up again. Maybe if I remember, I'll put it down below. But it really drew my eye because it's so thick. The leaf is so thick, it really feels like rubber. The other alocasias at this size, unless it is like a green dragon, which has the cardboardy kind of leaf, this one just feels, it's pliable, but it's really thick. So it's very, very cool. When I was looking this up after I brought it home, it said that it grows between 2 and 15 feet. So I really want to know what this is going to turn into. And hopefully it's an easier grower. I think it was saying that it's kind of a tough one. And it likes to dry out between waterings fairly well. Yeah, very excited to try this out. It makes sense. These leaves feel very succulent. They hold a lot of moisture. So very excited to see what this one does. Wish me luck. If you've grown this one, Acacia Heterophil, in the past, let me know what your experiences were and what I should do with it. Usually I wouldn't be buying them right now because it's a chaos factor to grow them in the house. They prefer to be outside in a partially part sun location, bright light, but not full sun. Sometimes a little full sun is nice, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah, let me know how it grows if you grow it, and help me out, please. Anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.